welcome back. I'm not quite sure why the music has gone all triumphal on us all of a sudden. Maybe it's just excited about our first planetary mission, which, as you'll see, is not really worth getting excited about. Anyway, before we get there, we have these 4 darkets. Well, I say 4 darkets. In theory, we would have 6 darkets, except that whoever at Origin was in charge of this bit of the mission got a bit lazy and didn't bother to change the start location from the default for the 5th and 6th darket, so they arrive in the same place, immediately collide with each other and are destroyed. You may have heard an explosion as I came out of autopilot. Sometimes you get the explosion and death bomb from the Kilrathi fighters, which is why I know what actually happens. It's a bit of a pity because 6 darkets would have been an interesting scrap in Excalibur. As it is, well, those 4 darkets took slightly less than a minute, and I took no damage. So now it's on to the planetary mission. We get this little cutscene of the Excalibur descending to the planet's surface. And now we're here. Just like as happened in Lakanda when we went after Flint, this mission is regarded as separate by the game, so I had to reset my energy there, and if I were to die, I would be able to restart at that point with a fresh Excalibur. Not that that's particularly likely. This is a fairly short ground mission and relatively easy. Yeah, as you can kind of see, ground missions were, I'd say, an afterthought, but actually I think probably what they were is something the designers always intended to do, but realised they didn't have some combination of the budget, the technology, or computers that were fast enough to actually run the game with ground missions that look vaguely like ground missions rather than what you see here. The grey, pointy landscape will be common to, I think, pretty much every ground mission we ever fly on. All Kilrathi buildings everywhere look the same. Let it be fair, that one's actually plausible since the Kilrathi aren't supposed to have any particular sense of aesthetics, so they could well just build the same prefab buildings everywhere. Enemies and so on also all fairly standard. The Akapshi is the intense atmospheric fighter. It's the only fighter we'll ever encounter on a planetary mission. It's a bit like similar between a Darkit and a Dralthi. It's faster and more manoeuvrable than a Dralthi and has better guns than the Darkit, but it doesn't have as many missiles as the Dralthi does, nor is it quite as well protected. It likes to try and lead you into flying into the landscape. This is never a particular problem. You can see on the left hand side of my screen, just above the shield display, I have an altimeter. If you just keep an eye on that, you will almost certainly not hit the ground. The little blue line is my altitude, and the blue arrow is which direction the top of my screen is in. The only real danger of Akapshi are is that they tend to show up in large numbers. We had 6 in that first fight, which can get quite hairy. That's why I took some frontal foe missiles to just let them off at the start of that fight, and hopefully distract a few fighters so that I can kill the others. Of course, you also only ever encounter the Akapshi when you're flying the Excalibur, so it's a bit unreasonable of me to call it rubbish on the grounds that pretty much every Kilrathi fighter is rubbish in comparison to the Excalibur, so it's actually a pretty decent ship, just not a match best in the Confederation arsenal. You always have to fly the Excalibur in ground missions because it is theoretically the only Confederation fighter capable of fighting in atmosphere. I say theoretically because in a bit we're going to have an in-mission cutscene which has a plot hole in it related to that. Anyway, reason that we are here is supposedly to provide an escort and some top cover for the Confederation Marines who are rescuing Dr. Severn. What this means in practice is that we are required to destroy the portable tanks at this nav point. Well, I say at this nav point, they're not actually visible when you come out of autopilot, but they are the 4 orange dots you can see on my radar. The tanks being orange dots means that they are, as far as the game is concerned, Colgathi capital ships. This brings with it certain features which the tanks have, and which they really shouldn't have, and which kind of emphasise quite how badly designed all this stuff is. One of them you can see here. The draw distance is much greater than the draw distance for the actual terrain, so we can see the 4 tanks floating in the middle of space until we get sufficiently close that the terrain draw catches up with them. Another one is that since they are capital ships and not fighters, if the autopilot lights come on, that wouldn't maybe strike you as that much of a problem. After all, they aren't fighters, they can't chase us, so maybe we should be able to autopilot. And I'd agree with you, except these guys are our mission objective, as I said. And if you autopilot past them, you can't just do what you would normally do in a Wing Commander mission and carry on hitting the autopilot button until you get back to the nav point that you missed the objective at, because if you hit the autopilot at the last nav point on the planetary surface, you go back into space, and once you reach space, you fail the mission. And since, as Paladin explained to us in the briefing, this is a critical mission, you are then sent straight to Proxima and you have lost the entire game. And all because you accidentally hit the A button. This is not exactly great design.
Mission objectives accomplished.
Now you're not completely doomed once you hit the A button by accident. You could go under the map screen and reset your targeted nav point to the target nav, but you would of course have to know to do that, which you are unlikely to do first time around. I could engage with these tanks, but there's no real need to. Tanks don't count in your kill score, and these aren't an objective, so I'm just going to fly on. We're done with the ground mission here, so enjoy this cutscene. We told Vagabond to chill out. Well, he didn't quite take that advice, as it turns out. Plot inconsistency here, by the way. Vagabond's flying a Hellcat. We can't fly a Hellcat in outer space missions.
Long time no see, Doc. Take it easy, boys. I've done what I came to do.
Because it's not capable of atmospheric flight or atmospheric combat or something. It is good to see that the Marines are at least sufficiently intelligent to leave the Hellcat there, since we're not going to be wanting it for anything. Why would you ever want a Hellcat for something?
Mission objectives
Anyway, that does complete the mission, so...
Need clearance, TCS Victory.
We got him, sir. But you'll never guess who landed himself in the brig. You're cleared. Oh, General Tanger wants to speak to you.
Well done, laddie. You've done us all proud. Wish I could stick around and celebrate when you land, but now that we've got Severin, I've got a lot of work to do. You'll hear from me again.
Thanks for watching. I've been Alanin. This has been Wing Commander 3 Heart of the Tiger, and join me next time when I will be heading for the back door to kill that, or the side door, or something. In Prince Takat's house there are many doors.
You really smoked him, Colonel.
Thanks, Chief.